You're a summoner? That's the weakest class in the world. The moment Lin Xiao awakened his class, everyone laughed at him. His rival called him trash. No team wanted him. No one believed he could clear a dungeon. Even a normal combat class was considered better than becoming a summoner. But they had no idea. Lin Xiao had awakened a unique S-tier talent. A talent so powerful that nobody else in the world could ever obtain it. Every single day, he gains a brand new S-rank talent. His first summon was just a tiny skeleton. Weak, pathetic, worthless. But after receiving an S-rank talent, it evolved into a terrifying Death Knight. A monster capable of slaughtering entire armies. Then his slime gained the power of endless evolution through devouring. His goblin became a master of legendary weapons. And that was only the beginning. While other people struggled to make one summon stronger, Lin Xiao gave countless S-rank talents to all of his summons. Every day they evolved. Every day they grew stronger. Every day they became more terrifying. Geniuses, prodigies, heroes, none of them could even defeat his weakest summon. Then the abyss descended upon the world. Demon gods appeared. Ancient monsters awakened. Even the gods themselves looked down upon humanity. But when humanity stood on the edge of extinction, one man stepped forward. Behind him stood an army powerful enough to shake heaven and earth. An army of death knights, ancient beasts, divine creatures, and beings powerful enough to rival gods. The world finally realized one terrifying truth. The strongest army was never an army. The strongest kingdom was never a kingdom. It was one summoner, and his summons. This is the story of Lin Xiao, the summoner who turned the weakest class into the strongest existence in the world. Week 1 8-hour video will be uploaded. All novels uploaded here are completed, so you will get a full story without searching or waiting. I have listened to the translated version on web, and there are no major problems with translation. If you want Chinese novel translated, give me the original name of the novel and I will respond to your request as soon as possible. Please make sure your request is on the latest video. If you hear this "u" sound in the novel, it means either question mark or some space is left, like getting materials or experience gain there more but not shown. If after a name is used and after there is silence, it means exclamation marks were used as in shock. I don't know if this will happen in recorded one, but it happened in web version. Chapter 283. Lin Xiao roughly understood the abilities of the Tower of Heaven. Besides being able to see the monster information and material distribution on each floor, and interfering with whether others can pass, he could enter freely himself. In other words, he didn't need an admission ticket. It's a good place to level up, and the experience points are substantial. Lin Xiao decided that after dealing with the Heart of Curse, he would enter the Tower of Heaven to level up. The monsters inside could continuously refresh, making experience gain much faster than running a dungeon. Most importantly, if I can't defeat something, I can choose to retreat directly without any restrictions, allowing me to challenge higher floors. Just thinking about it made him feel excited. I'll go see Old Goat first. That will settle a matter weighing on my mind. Just before Lin Xiao prepared to set off, the communication tool, Nan Wanqing, had left him transmitted a sound. Lin Xiao, did you pass the Tower of Heaven? Hearing Nan Wanqing's voice, Lin Xiao was stunned and muttered. How did he know so quickly? Yes, I just came out of it. Lin Xiao did not deny it. Since Nan Wanqing contacted him so quickly, he must already know the situation regarding the Tower of Heaven. Is he here to ask about the divine inheritance? Just as Lin Xiao thought this, Nan Wanqing's words confirmed his suspicion. Whose divine inheritance is at the top of the Tower of Heaven? Since you managed to come out smoothly, you probably didn't agree to their terms. Nan Wanqing asked two questions with a serious tone. Didn't agree to their terms. Lin Xiao glanced at his own quest. Class Awakening. Heaven-stealing summoner. This was a mandatory quest. There was no way to abandon it. Did this count as agreeing to Celia? But the god of fun came out afterward and saved him. So this shouldn't count as receiving the god of thieves' inheritance, right? Lin Xiao wasn't actually very clear about it. Well, it's like this. Lin Xiao recounted the general situation. Nan Wanxing didn't interrupt. After Lin Xiao finished speaking, there was still silence on his end, making Lin Xiao wonder if the connection had been cut off. The goddess of fate actually stepped in to save you. It seems she thinks highly of you. I think this was just a piece of fun she arranged, and she solved the problem of the god of thieves along the way. Lin Xiao muttered inwardly. Nan Wanxing didn't know what Lin Xiao was thinking and continued. I was worried you might run into trouble after reaching the top. It would be troublesome if some evil god forcibly bound you. It seems the holy temple was prepared early on. I worried too much. Are you planning to go to Forging God Mountain to cure the heart of curse on you? Lin Xiao. I plan to go to Forging God Mountain. After killing the city Lord of Light, the massive amount of experience instantly brought his level to 50. He wasn't far from level 60. If he didn't solve this problem soon, it would become serious. All right, you go ahead. I will contact you again after you've dealt with your matter. Nan Wanxing disconnected the communication without explaining what the matter was. As he was preparing to move forward, another voice sounded in Lin Xiao's ear, making his body stiffen. That bastard fate is too ruthless. It was Celia. However, her voice sounded very weak, as if she had just recovered from a serious illness. Lin Xiao, if you choose to complete the class awakening quest I gave you when you reach level 60, you can still save me. By then, the entire Tower of Heaven will belong to you. After a moment of complaint, Celia got straight to the point. Lin Xiao rolled his eyes at her. Do you think that's possible? However, listening to Celia's words, the mandatory class awakening quest given to him might not be absolutely required to complete. Because she said, choose to complete her quest. Don't you want to become stronger? Don't underestimate my abilities. Okay. Lin Xiao spoke calmly. I am not underestimating your abilities. He had clearly seen the abilities Celia displayed in the images left behind in the Tower of Heaven, so how could he underestimate them? I know what happened. Did fate give you a class awakening quest? I'm telling you, she cannot be trusted. If you complete her class awakening quest, you will never reach true god rank in this lifetime. Celia desperately tried to persuade Lin Xiao to change his mind. Lin Xiao pushed open the door, checked out of the room, and walked toward the Adventurers Association, replying at the same time, your trickery to corrupt people's hearts is useless against me. You should save your breath. I'm not trying to corrupt you. Everything I said is true. Think about it. Have I ever lied to you? Celia quickly responded. Throughout your journey in the Tower of Heaven, I didn't lie to you or harm you. I only forced you to accept my inheritance, and I only did this to leave the Tower of Heaven. Moreover, this isn't something harmful. If it were anyone else, they would be eager to accept it immediately. If you think my abilities are dirty, that's purely based on personal morality and has nothing to do with the abilities themselves. Listening to Celia, Lin Xiao recalled everything that happened in the Tower of Heaven. She didn't seem to have done anything truly outrageous. Seeing that Lin Xiao was swayed by her words, Celia pressed her advantage. As long as you complete the class awakening quest I gave you, your future path will be smooth. If you choose fate, your future path will be difficult, and you might not even be able to reach God rank. Why can't choosing fate's path lead to God rank? Lin Xiao was curious. Because she won't hand over her power of fate. You know what inheritance means. And since your talent is so great, she will definitely use you to push her fate up another step. Arriving at the Adventurers Association, Lin Xiao heard people around him discussing the Tower of Heaven, and he even vaguely heard his own name. He immediately felt uneasy and quickened his steps, entering the fairy forest dungeon. It's Lin Xiao. He came out of the Tower of Heaven. I wonder if he cleared the final stage. The information disappeared afterward. Awesome. He completely blew up the Tower of Heaven. No way? Where is he? He just came out of the Tower of Heaven and immediately came to the Adventurers Association to run a dungeon. Isn't this guy too desperate? Is he a grinding king? I see him. He's here. Quick. Grab him. Damn it. He's about to enter the dungeon. Hurry and stop him. Lin Xiao suddenly sped up and entered the dungeon directly. Phew, good thing I ran fast. Wait a minute. I didn't do anything wrong. Why am I running? But then he thought those people were chasing him like maniacs. Not running in that situation would be abnormal. They are probably still waiting for me outside. When I leave later, I'll exit through a different location. Exiting a dungeon doesn't mean you can only return to the Adventurers Association. You can also return to the place where the dungeon appeared. Just as Lin Xiao was preparing to set off to find the god of forging, a large door quickly assembled itself right before his eyes. You arrived faster than I expected. Come in. Old Goat's voice came from inside the door. Lin Xiao walked over and muttered. He knew as soon as I arrived? Was he waiting for me the whole time? This entire area is within my range of perception, and it's practically half my home. Of course, I can sense when you arrive. Old Goat responded to Lin Xiao's mutterings. Chapter 284. Lin Xiao took out a transparent glass cabinet, with the heart of the City Lord of Light placed inside. Even though the City Lord of Light was already dead, the heart still retained its vitality, as if the two existed independently. Old Goat lifted the glass cabinet and examined the heart inside, then said, A very pure heart. It can indeed replace the heart of curse currently inside your body. Is there anything else you need me to do? Lin Xiao asked. Old Goat pointed to a metal table nearby and said, No, just take off your shirt and lie down on it. Leave the rest to me. All right. Not suspecting anything, Lin Xiao took off his shirt and lay directly on it. He immediately felt a wave of coldness. Lin Xiao looked up and saw the creature covered in thick, long fur come to his side. He saw it pull out a sword from somewhere unknown, puff out its cheeks, and spray a mouthful of some unknown liquid onto it. It must have been for sterilization. Seeing this, Lin Xiao shuddered and hurriedly asked, Wait a second, what are you doing? He felt a bit panicked at this moment. Why did this setup feel like he was about to be slaughtered like a pig? Sterilizing, Old Goat replied indifferently. I know what sterilizing is, but why are you using a sword? This is more handy to use. Just make do with it. Old Goat noticed Lin Xiao's concern and laughed, though it wasn't visible. Rest assured, there won't be any problems. Would there really be no problems? This looked very scary. Lin Xiao lay back down, but every time he opened his eyes, he saw the long-furred creature holding a sword and staring at him, which naturally caused him some psychological pressure. By the way, Lin Xiao suddenly remembered something. Is there any such thing as an anesthetic?
No.
Rest assured, it's just replacing a body part. It won't be very painful, and it won't take much time. After speaking, Old Goat's sword descended, and the area of Lin Xiao's chest where his heart was located was sliced open. A wave of cursed aura permeated out, immediately causing Old Goat to frown. Lin Xiao didn't feel much, he just felt a bit cool on his chest. The power of the god of curse. Old Goat tried to insert the sword, but after fiddling with a few directions, he withdrew it and fell into deep thought. Lin Xiao asked with his chest open, "Is it difficult?" "Yes, I thought about it too simply. Now there is good news and bad news." Without waiting for Lin Xiao to choose, Old Goat said directly, "The bad news is that the heart of curse has already fused with your flesh and blood and cannot be directly detached. If forced, it will cost you your life. The good news is that you came early and brought the heart of the city Lord of Light, so there is still salvation. It will just be quite troublesome. If you had come any later, even with the heart of the city Lord of Light, it would have been useless." After delivering the two pieces of news, Old Goat frowned again and muttered, "Something isn't right. The power of the heart of curse is so strong. Logically, you should be affected, but why are you still able to act like a normal person without any issues? Very strange. Really, really strange. The heart of curse carried an extremely strong power of curse. Although it was suppressed, it was constantly releasing curses, and Lin Xiao's body should have been affected to some degree. Yet he was not affected in the slightest, which was what Old Goat found very strange. "Maybe I'm naturally gifted?" Lin Xiao joked. "That's not bad. After all, I'm not very skilled at healing methods. If your whole body were covered in the power of curse, it would likely be very difficult to complete the heart replacement." Old Goat went to the other side, fiddled around for a bit, and took out a pointed hammer from a pile of tools. "It will be a bit painful in a moment, bear with it," Old Goat said. Looking at the hammer in Old Goat's hand, Lin Xiao started muttering to himself again. Why does it really feel like slaughtering a pig? He just randomly pulled out a hammer to use on me. Did he even sterilize it? Lin Xiao nodded uneasily. "Be careful." Bang! As the hammer struck down, lightning splattered like sparks from a blacksmith's forge, hitting the ground and leaving charred black spots. Lin Xiao was not struck by the lightning, but he felt his heart being hammered hard. It was a bit uncomfortable. Roar. Just as Old Goat was about to continue hammering, a dragon roar rang out, causing him to hesitate. "Evil dragon?" Old Goat raised his brow, his eyes emitting a faint blue light as he stared at Lin Xiao. "You also have evil dragon equipment on you?" "Huh? Your evil dragon equipment is different from what I've seen before. It has actually fused with the power of the evil god." "No wonder." Fused with the power of the evil god. Lin Xiao was taken aback and recalled the effects of the evil dragon equipment. Apart from summoning the evil dragon, the other effects seemed to be related to the evil god. Could it be that the trace of the power of the evil god he obtained earlier caused the evil dragon equipment to change? Thinking about everything that happened when dealing with the evil dragon stone earlier, Lin Xiao felt this was very likely. "Will this affect your treatment?" Lin Xiao asked. Old Goat shook his head. "Have you forgotten what I do? This little influence is insignificant. Just treat it as background noise." Lin Xiao. Subsequently, Old Goat began hammering the heart of curse again. As the hammer continued to fall, dragon roars rang out continuously, each one louder than the last. A moment later, Lin Xiao clearly felt his heart being cracked open. Just at this moment, Old Goat suddenly retreated, and a shield suddenly appeared, blocking in front of him. What's wrong? Lin Xiao turned his head to look. Old Goat did not respond, but after waiting for a moment in a defensive stance, he walked over with a look of confusion on his face. Strange, I have already chiseled a hole in the heart of curse. Yet the power of curse hasn't been released at all. What is going on? Old Goat stared at the heart of curse inside Lin Xiao's body and saw through the chiseled hole that it was stuffed with the power of curse. But there was no sign of it escaping at all. It's locked by a special power. After staring for a moment, he finally understood. No wonder the heart of curse hasn't had any effect on you. It turns out there is a special power restraining the spread of the power of curse. A special power? Lin Xiao was stunned and couldn't help but recall the process of fighting against the abyssal demon Serena and the curse Frost. The consumables he used after being cursed. Is it Venus? Lin Xiao raised the question. Although Venus was a deity, it seemed she couldn't suppress the curse of the heart of curse. But if there was a special power, he could only think of Venus.
Venu.
The long fur on Old Goat's brow twitched, and then he said, "It's not Venus. She doesn't have this ability." Old Goat raised his palm and pressed it onto Lin Xiao's belly, seemingly searching for something. A moment later, he suddenly widened his eyes, and the eyes previously covered by long fur became clearly visible. Hylan. Chapter 285. Hylan. Lin Xiao was stunned. He seemed to have heard that name somewhere before. Right, it was the grass set. When betting against the god of fun, the grass set had been lost to her once, but then won back. It was at that time he heard the name Hylan from the god of fun. It was also from her mouth that he learned the grass set's power had been sealed. After one layer of the seal was removed later, it became the earth preservation set. Now, he was hearing the name Hylan for the second time, this time from Old Goat. Moreover, judging by what Old Goat said, Hylan's equipment, the earth preservation set, was suppressing the spread of the heart of curse's curse. I do have Hylan's equipment on me, but it's already sealed. Can it still be effective? Lin Xiao asked curiously. It is sealed. As the god of forging, Old Goat saw it instantly. However, this doesn't affect the manifestation of her abilities. I'm more curious about where you obtained this equipment. Where did I get it? Lin Xiao couldn't help but recall how Serena had used this equipment to lure him right after he became a professional. He was certain Serena didn't know the equipment's origin either. She just felt it was special. Otherwise, she wouldn't have casually brought it out. It's fine if you don't want to say. I just saw an old acquaintance and felt a little nostalgic. Old Goat gripped his hammer, preparing to continue his work. Since Hylan's assistance is present, I can relax and won't have to worry about the curse's influence. An old acquaintance. Lin Xiao muttered inwardly and asked curiously, "Which deity is Hylan? If I'm distracting you, I can ask later." After all, Old Goat was saving him, and distracting him would cause trouble. It's nothing, just a very small procedure. Old Goat continued widening the opening of the heart of curse while saying, Hylan is the elven god. The elven god? Lin Xiao was surprised. Her name had appeared when Celia, the god of thieves, forcibly changed his class. She started out with the holy temple but died in battle. It is said she survived by transforming into a special form, which should be the equipment you are currently wearing. Old Goat recounted the past affairs of the elven god. Started out with the holy temple? Lin Xiao was taken aback. He thought the elven god was just one of the deities in the holy temple, but he never expected her origin to be so significant. Isn't Hylan extremely powerful? Very powerful. If she hadn't died, she likely would have advanced further, reaching the same height as the holy temple. If two supreme beings were still present, the current holy temple wouldn't need to hide in this place. Supreme being, stronger than a high god? So the holy temple lost the subsequent battle? Although he didn't know the details, Lin Xiao could vaguely guess what had happened back then. Combined with what Celia said in the Tower of Heaven, the holy temple seemed to have lost the fight. Lin Xiao didn't press further about the past events, but instead asked, "Can you help me remove the seal on Hylan's equipment?" "I can." Old Goat did not refuse. Perhaps he wanted to help Lin Xiao, or perhaps he didn't want Hylan's equipment to be buried like this. "Oh, right, it's going to hurt soon. Bear with it. If you can't endure it, just pass out for a bit. You should be fine when you wake up. Go ahead. Don't worry. I can endure it." Boom! Before Lin Xiao could finish speaking, he felt a powerful bolt of lightning pierce his heart. His eyes widened instantly, then rolled back, and he immediately passed out. The abyss. The fusion is finally complete. Ha ha ha. Lin Xiao, I don't believe you can escape my grasp this time. Serena held a skull in her left hand. The bony texture of the skull shone with a cold, eerie luster, emitting a faint purple aura, subtly revealing a hint of the curse's power. This was indeed a curse. After killing Curse Frost, Serena stole all of the opponent's abilities and claimed them for herself. Although she handed over the most important heart of Curse, she still acquired the majority of the abilities. You can be immune to my dark magic, but can you be immune to curses? Serena's lips curled slightly into a sneer. She intended to reclaim all the humiliation she suffered before. Even if you can. Serena flipped her right hand, and a mass of cold, black flame erupted in her palm. I still have a backup plan. I don't believe you can be immune even to fire. Yes, Serena, who was once a dark archmage, was now learning other types of magic. Curse and fire, all to wash away her previous disgrace. It's time to find him. This time I won't hold back anything. My first move will be a guaranteed kill, Serena said viciously. Just as she was about to set off to find Lin Xiao, a voice rang out in her mind. She immediately responded, "My lord, what are your orders? Come to me." It was the Darkborn Archdemon, the Archdemon of the Abyss. Serena dared not delay for a moment and immediately headed to the castle where the Darkborn Archdemon was located. Upon arriving, she found that besides herself, other abyssal demons were also present. Soon, Serena noticed that out of the 12 elemental demons who were supposed to be there, only 6 had arrived. The others didn't come? She didn't believe the others had the guts to skip this. Where are the others? Serena asked Vera, the water abyssal demon, with whom she had a decent relationship. It's just us. The others won't be coming. Vera glanced at her and said coldly, "Won't be coming?" Serena was startled. Vera looked at her scornfully. "Are you truly ignorant? Or just pretending? What happened?" Serena quickly asked, then added, "The last mission to eliminate the human failed, which led to Curse Frost's death, and I was punished. I was only allowed to come out when my lord called me." "Trash," Vera scoffed, then continued, "It's that damned woman and the war chief. They are constantly encroaching on our territory, and several of our people have been killed by them." "It was them," Serena was shocked. No matter how ignorant she was, she knew who Vera was referring to. They are so brazen as to kill our people? Aren't they afraid the Archduke of Demons will wipe them out? Her master was the Archdemon Darkborn Archdemon, but above the Darkborn Archdemon, there was still an Archduke of Demons. Those two haven't done much of the killing. The Flame Demon and the others were killed by the 12-faced Abyssal Demon. Since they were killed by peers, the Archdukes naturally find it difficult to intervene. Killed by peers. Hearing this, Serena fell silent. If that was the case, it would indeed be difficult for the Archduke of Demons to intervene. If he did, he would probably be mocked by the other two Archdukes of Demons. Then why did our Lord summon us this time? To gather and huddle together for warmth. Serena tried to probe. I heard from Annis that our Lord will grant us some powerful items or abilities to deal with them. Powerful items? Abilities? Serena exclaimed. Her first thought was that this meant more assistance in killing Lin Xiao. Chapter 286. Cold and Chilly. After Lin Xiao regained consciousness, he found himself lying shirtless on that iron platform, with the sound of clinking and clanking ringing in his ears. Turning his head to look, he discovered Old Goat was forging a weapon and was already prepared to enter the quenching step. Lin Xiao sat up, rubbed his temples, and asked, "How long have I been unconscious?" His memory stopped at the moment he was about to pass out. He had basically forgotten everything that happened afterwards. Old Goat quenched the sword blank and then answered Lin Xiao's question. 1 month. Being able to wake up this quickly is within my expectations. 1 month. I actually slept for this long. Lin Xiao was shocked. He thought at most only 3 or 4 days had passed. He didn't expect that a whole month had gone by. This counts as fast. If it were anyone else, it might have been longer, Old Goat said. At this moment, a notification sound rang in Lin Xiao's ears. Fusion of Heart of Curse and Heart of the City Lord of Light complete. Advance to Heart of Reversal. Heart of Reversal. Negative effects / curses received are converted into positive effects. Limited to epic grade equipment and below. Heart of Reversal. Lin Xiao was stunned, immediately pulled up his information panel, and discovered there was an extra special part display. Special part. Heart of Reversal. In other words, any curse I receive will be converted into a positive effect. Isn't this ability too strong? Lin Xiao suddenly remembered a piece of equipment and immediately had the Goblin King take out the Scepter of Curse. Scepter of Curse. Equality. Epic. Or applicable level. None. Applicable class. All classes. Ear attributes. Constitution plus 30,000, Strength plus 3,000, Intelligence plus 10,000, Spirit plus 2,000, Magic Power plus 20,000. Effect 1. When carried, randomly obtain a curse, and obtain another curse every hour thereafter, lasting for 12 hours. Effect 2. Every time an attack is launched, cause the enemy to randomly obtain a curse. When 10 curses are accumulated, trigger Death Countdown. The effect of automatically obtaining curses while carrying it was very perverted, which led to Lin Xiao almost never using this piece of equipment. But now with the Heart of Reversal, the curses applied to himself would automatically convert into positive effects. In other words, he would constantly have buffs applied. Scepter of Curse effect triggered, obtained, Petrification Syndrome. Heart of Reversal effect triggered, Petrification Syndrome converted into Medusa's Protection. A Medusa's Protection. Immune to petrification effects. Duration 1 hour. Too strong. From now on, I won't be afraid when encountering cursed creatures. Lin Xiao was very satisfied. He didn't expect the fusion of the heart of curse and the heart of the city Lord of Light to have such an effect. A curse-type weapon? Old Goat walked over, saw the scepter in Lin Xiao's hand, and saw the trick of it at a glance. This weapon is actually quite a good match for your current heart. Thank you. Lin Xiao expressed his sincere gratitude. Old Goat waved his hand and said, I originally wanted to fuse it further, attempting to fuse your heart to the mythical grade, but thinking that your body couldn't withstand it, I settled for the next best thing. This is also useful for you. It's enough. Lin Xiao put on his clothes, took out the fire god's eternal kindling flame, and said, As I promised you before, I'm lending you the fire god's flame to use. Good. Old Goat accepted it without reserve. When I'm done using it, I'll return it directly to her. No need to trouble you. By the way, I have already removed the seal on Hyland's equipment, but there is one last layer remaining. When you reach level 100, you can come find me again. Lin Xiao couldn't help but be happy. Okay. He immediately looked at the new equipment. The Elemental Fusion Set, 3/3. Attributes. Magic Power plus 3000000. All Attribute Enhancement plus 500. Effect 1. Elemental Refining. Obtain more pure elemental power. The Effect 2. Elemental Protection. A special shield formed by 12 types of elements, immune to 12 attacks. Effect 3. Elemental Ley Lines. Utilize elemental power to construct elemental ley lines, can form a domain. The effects of this set are a bit perverted. Not only can it refine elements, it can also provide protection and generate an elemental domain. Even I, a summoner, think it's perverted. Lin Xiao couldn't help but exclaim. Although he was a summoner, it didn't mean the set's effects would be greatly discounted. He had summoned beasts and could construct an elemental domain suitable for his summoned beasts to fight in, which greatly increased their combat power. It could be said that with the Elemental Fusion set, he could also count as half a mage. The Elemental Fusion Bracelet. Equality. Epic AA Attributes. Magic Power plus 10,000. All Attribute Enhancement plus 100 AI Effect 1. Revive immediately upon death. Cooldown time 3 hours. I Effect 2. Life recovery speed increased by 100%. Recover 10% life per second. Elemental Fusion Set. 3/3 activated. This is the effect of the previous Earth Preservation set? Lin Xiao exclaimed. He had just been lamenting the loss of the resurrection effect, not expecting that the original set effect had been moved onto the equipment. This was simply too awesome. The Elemental Fusion Pendant. Equality. Epic AA Attributes. Magic Power plus 10,000. All Attribute Enhancement plus 10%. I Effect 1. Spatial Storage. Can contain living things. The Effect 2. Skill Reset. Can reset one of one's own skills. Cooldown time 30 days. The Elemental Fusion Set. 3/3 activated. This is the power of space and time. Seeing these two effects, Lin Xiao immediately understood what kind of elements they were. However, a 30-day cooldown time. Isn't this too abstract? This is too long. Lin Xiao once suspected he had misread it, but after carefully confirming it a few times, it was indeed 30 days. So, Hyland didn't have much deep study into the time element. Lin Xiao guessed, but he wasn't too sure about the specifics. However, having one chance to reset a skill was also not bad. The Elemental Fusion Earrings, A quality. Epic, or attributes. Magic power plus 10,000. All elemental enhancement plus 5%. I effect 1. Elemental amplification. Increase self-elemental perception and affinity. Effect 2. Elemental magic show. When casting elemental skills, there is a probability of an additional cast. Elemental fusion set. 3/3 activated. These earrings are a bit lacking. Better suited for mages, but still not bad. Lin Xiao was still very satisfied with these 3 new pieces of equipment. Previously, when they were the grass set and earth preservation set, a single piece of equipment had no effect at all. Looking at your expression, you are very satisfied with the equipment Hylan left behind. Old Goat's voice came over. I am quite satisfied. Lin Xiao jumped off the iron platform. The main task of coming to find Old Goat this time could be considered complete. However, he still had other matters. Old Goat, I want to ask you to help me forge some equipment, Lin Xiao asked. Forge equipment for your summoned beast? Hearing Lin Xiao's question, Old Goat knew his thoughts. Yes, I want you to forge exclusive equipment for my summoned beast. As for the reward, Lin Xiao paused and said, you can just name it. Old Goat stroked the long hair on his neck and said, this is simple. I have quite a lot of equipment here. Just take them and modify them. Just modify them? Lin Xiao was stunned. Isn't this too hasty? I can still afford the reward. Old Goat shook his head. It's not what you think. The main thing is that your level is too low. Even if I forge mythical grade equipment for you, you wouldn't be able to use it. Take equipment that has already been forged into epic grade equipment. Then perform simple modifications according to the characteristics of your summoned beast, and it can be used. Lin Xiao immediately understood. So that's how it is. Then I will have to trouble you. It's no trouble. When they are forged, I will have you come to pick them up. However, it might not be that fast. I need to use the eternal kindling flame to forge another piece of equipment first. Old Goat reminded. Okay. Chapter 287. Lin Xiao summoned the Snow Girl doll and others one by one, asking Old Goat to craft suitable equipment for them. As for the Death Knight and Little Mo, they didn't need any. The former had the scythe of the Death God, and the latter had her exclusive whip. Oh, this summoned beast of yours is very special, a unique life form. When Lin Xiao summoned Xiao Jing, Old Goat let out a surprised sound. Lin Xiao didn't know what equipment was suitable for Xiao Jing, so he summoned it, hoping Old Goat could offer some advice. It's a special crystal-type summoned beast. I don't know what equipment suits it, and I'm still figuring out its combat style. Do you have any good suggestions? Lin Xiao seized the opportunity and immediately asked. Old Goat was knowledgeable and might be able to give him some new ideas or inspiration. Old Goat picked up his hammer, tapped it lightly, stroked the long hair on his chin, and said, Suggestions? I don't know much about summoners, but I've seen many types of creatures. Their abilities are bizarre. Firing lasers, mirror reflection, mirror duplication, domain generation, and so on. These are what I've encountered, so I can only give you these opinions. If you have an idea, you can choose a cultivation direction, and the equipment I craft will lean towards that direction. If you still have no idea, crafting a general-purpose piece of equipment is also an option. Old Goat paused, as if he had discovered something, and said, Does this summoned beast of yours also have the special skill, Spirit Coffin? Is this skill very special? Lin Xiao quickly asked. Not particularly, but it depends on who has it. Old Goat walked over to a chair and sat down, then poured himself a cup of tea and began to drink. He continued, I once encountered a special race. Let's call them the Spirit Coffin race for now. Their abilities are very unique. They use special coffins to store corpses inside, and after a period, they can resurrect them and use them in battle. Lin Xiao raised an eyebrow. Manipulating corpses to fight? It's not manipulating corpses. It's a method similar to resurrection. You can think of it as a way of creating puppets, and it seems they retain memories from their former lives, though I'm not entirely clear on that point. He only knew of such a race because he once crafted a special coffin for them. Puppets? Lin Xiao's eyes lit up. This seemed like a good idea. Moreover, Xiao Jing's spirit coffin seemed to still contain an ice and snow queen. If that could be achieved, he would gain another fighting force. That's a great suggestion. Just as you said, make a suitable weapon for Xiao Jing. Lin Xiao immediately decided. He already had offensive, auxiliary, and domain abilities. This special resurrection ability was excellent. Killing enemies and then turning them into his own people. TSK, TSK, TSK. It couldn't be more satisfying. It's possible, it's possible. Old Goat poured himself another cup of tea and said, It's just that your summoned beast doesn't have such an ability yet. Are you sure you want to go in this direction? Yes. Lin Xiao nodded. He didn't have it now, and Spirit Coffin could only simply seal corpses, but as long as he obtained a suitable talent, it would come naturally. Making preparations beforehand was not a bad idea. All right. Old Goat didn't ask further. After everything was decided, Lin Xiao didn't linger. After bidding farewell to Old Goat, he left directly. He had more important things to do. The item entrusted by the god of fire, the armor of the light god. After clearing the fairy forest dungeon again, Lin Xiao chose not to return to the Adventurers Association but rather to the dungeon's location. Although a month had passed and the hype around him clearing the Tower of Heaven might have died down, he was still afraid of someone ambushing him, so he chose to appear at the dungeon's location. There was no need to return to the temple dormitory. He only needed to submit the sanctuary core to enter the God's Assembly Hall dungeon. With a dizzying sensation, Lin Xiao entered the God's Assembly Hall for the third time. This time it was different from the previous two. It was no longer a long table, but he had arrived at another place. A volcano. To be precise, it was a mountain range of volcanoes stretching for 1,000 miles. Dense fire elements filled the air, making one feel hot and dry. Is this where the god of fire lives? Lin Xiao immediately understood where he was. Before he could go look for the god of fire, he saw her descend from the sky. I thought you had long forgotten. You only came to find me more than a month after leaving the Tower of Heaven. You're really bold. Aren't you afraid I'll burn you to death with a single flame? The god of fire's cold voice rang out. Lin Xiao chuckled. Thank you, Lord God of Fire, for sparing my life. I was delayed quite a bit at Old Goat's place. Less talk. Where's what I want? The god of fire said unceremoniously. Perhaps because of the goddess of fate, her attitude towards Lin Xiao wasn't overly friendly. Lin Xiao immediately took out the armor of the light god, even though it was somewhat tattered. Seeing the armor of the light god, the god of fire's eyes seemed to drift. Then she took it from Lin Xiao's hand. Lin Xiao stood silently to the side. From the previous argument between the god of fire and the god of fun, he knew that the relationship between the god of fire and the god of light was not simple. They were likely lovers. But the god of light seemed to have become infatuated with an angel and pursued her. As a result, his fawning was unsuccessful, and he was severely beaten. Even so, he didn't give up and seemed to have left the sanctuary. Of course, all of this was just Lin Xiao's speculation. As for how dramatic the process was, he wasn't clear. When Lin Xiao saw her mood had mostly recovered, he spoke, "Lord God of Fire, my task is complete." The god of fire nodded, then asked, "What kind of reward do you want?" This was a dungeon, and according to regulations, clearing it required a reward, even for a god's dungeon. "Do you have any life-rich crystals?" Lin Xiao had already thought about the reward he wanted. His idea was simple. Xiao Jing's spirit coffin skill couldn't yet give life to the dead, so he wanted to obtain such an ability through talent or skills to achieve the resurrection effect. The reason he asked the god of fire for such crystals was that Xiao Jing could gain different abilities by devouring different crystals. He didn't know if the god of fire had any, but he tried asking. If she did, that would be for the best. Life-rich crystals? The god of fire pondered for a moment, then glanced at Lin Xiao. "Did she tell you?" "She? The god of fun?" Lin Xiao immediately shook his head. "It was my own idea." He then briefly explained the situation, including Old Goat's suggestion. "I see, wait a moment." The god of fire transformed into a flame and vanished. Lin Xiao didn't wait long before he saw her reappear, and then a crimson crystal flew before his eyes. Phoenix Fire Stone. A special stone that accompanies a phoenix, possessing unique abilities. After thousands of years, a new special life form might be born from it. Good stuff. Lin Xiao's eyes lit up, and he immediately put away the Phoenix Fire Stone. Dungeon cleared. God's Assembly Hall, Vulcan Mountain. Obtained. Phoenix Fire Stone. Material. *1. Additional reward. Class Awakening Quest. Skyfire Summoner. Lin Xiao was stunned when he heard about the additional reward. This was given to me by the god of fire? Why? With doubts, Lin Xiao opened the quest. Class Awakening. Skyfire Summoner. A trial given by the god of fire. Upon completion, gain a special class awakening. Awakening as a Skyfire Summoner grants a fire element summoned beast. It really is a class awakening quest. Why? Lin Xiao couldn't understand, but he vaguely had a guess. Was it intentional to annoy the god of fun? It must be. Chapter 288. Returning to the Imperial Capital Academy, Lin Xiao rarely heard any discussion about his successful clearance of the Tower of Heaven, which immediately relieved a lot of pressure. The matters that needed handling are done. It's time to increase the strength of my summoned beasts. I obtained 186 talent divine stones from the City Lord of Light. I used 5 during combat, leaving 181, which is enough to upgrade talents 36 times. I almost forgot, I also acquired 30 S-rank talents during the month I was unconscious on Forging God Mountain. I'll check later if there are any suitable for Xiao Jing. Returning to the temple dormitory, Grandpa Nyo was, as always, lying on his grand tutor's chair, fanning himself and listening to the radio, living a very carefree life. You brat. You hid for so long, and you're finally back. I didn't realize you had such great skill, actually managing to clear the Tower of Heaven. How did you do it? When Grandpa Nyo saw who had arrived, His eyes lit up, and he immediately sat up. When he first learned that Lin Xiao had cleared the Tower of Heaven, he was extremely shocked and desperately wanted to ask how he did it. Seeing him now, that desire hadn't diminished, and he immediately started asking. Lin Xiao thought for a moment and said frankly, "There's a special passage on the 35th floor. If you go through it, you can reach the 95th floor." He wasn't afraid of others knowing this secret. Setting aside whether one truly needed a god's flame and oil to open this special passage, even if someone managed to do it, they definitely wouldn't be able to enter. That's because half of the Tower of Heaven's control is currently in his hands. Without his permission, no one can use that special passage. There's a passage like that? You brat. You practically stumbled upon a stroke of luck, Grandpa Nyo exclaimed, immediately following up. And then? How did you get past the 95th floor? Lin Xiao shrugged and said casually, I hid, slowly approached the entrance to the next floor, and just passed through. The subsequent floors had no monsters. As for why, I don't know, and then I successfully reached the summit. As for what's at the top of the Tower of Heaven, that's a secret, so I can't tell you. Listening to Lin Xiao's understated description, Grandpa Nyo knew the difficulties involved. I'm not the type to pry incessantly. I was just curious how you cleared the Tower of Heaven. According to existing records, no one has been able to clear the Tower of Heaven yet. You are the first. Lin Xiao scratched his head. Luck! Grandpa Nyo lay back down on the Grand Tutor's chair, waving his fan, and said, Luck is also part of strength. Hurry up and go rest. Goodbye, Grandpa Nyo. Returning to the 3rd floor of the temple dormitory. Only he and Qin Chuan lived on this floor. Someone else lived on the 4th floor. Qin Chuan mentioned it was a girl, but Lin Xiao has yet to see what she looks like. Qin Chuan went to complete his class awakening. I wonder if he passed. Lin Xiao glanced unintentionally at Qin Chuan's room, remembering that he had gone to complete his own class awakening quest. Usually he wouldn't worry, but this time his class awakening was a quest given by the star god. I wonder if he completed it. Just as Lin Xiao was thinking this, Qin Chuan's door suddenly opened. Lin Xiao? You're back. Qin Chuan was momentarily stunned, then enthusiastically came up to greet him. Lin Xiao smiled slightly and offered his congratulations. Congratulations on passing your class awakening. I only returned 2 days ago. The difficulty of the awakening quest given by the god was truly extraordinary. I almost died several times inside, and if it weren't for the recovery items you gave me, I would have truly perished there. Qin Chuan complained bitterly to Lin Xiao. Then his tone changed, and he laughed. But the class awakening is genuinely powerful. Now, I have no problem dealing with a level 70 dungeon boss. Lin Xiao smiled. I'll have to see it sometime. Definitely. I can't chat right now. I have an urgent matter to attend to outside. Let's talk when I get back. Having said that, Qin Chuan hurriedly left the temple dormitory. Class awakening. I'll be doing mine soon too. Lin Xiao murmured, then returned to his dorm room. After a quick wash, he began to check the talents he had acquired. I hope there's a talent suitable for Xiao Jing. One suitable for little Mo would also be good. Lin Xiao summoned his information panel, his gaze falling upon the unused talents. Unused talents. Frozen Heart, Strength of the Mighty Dragon, Steadfast Suppression, Source of Life, Aura Cloak, Power of Throngs, Heart of Destruction. After reviewing all the S-rank talents, Lin Xiao quickly focused on 3 of them. Source of life, nirvana rebirth, earth revival. The first enhances autonomous recovery ability. The second grants resurrection, but only 9 times. The third is also a recovery-type talent, but requires standing on the ground. Lin Xiao looked at the talent descriptions and made a simple analysis. They all belong to the recovery category and might be effective on Xiao Jing's skill, Spirit Coffin, creating a unique combat system. Regardless of whether it works, I'll give them to her first. If not, I'll try the Phoenix Firestone I got from the God of Fire. Lin Xiao directly distributed the 3 S-rank talents to Xiao Jing. Summoned Beast. Source of Crystal Core. Xiao Jing - Life Crystal Core. Source of Crystal Core. Xiao Jing. Quality upgraded to Epic. Lin Xiao raised an eyebrow and exclaimed excitedly, "It evolved! Life Crystal Core. Does it grant the ability to resurrect?" He immediately looked at the skill description for Spirit Coffin, but no changes had occurred. The ability to resurrect is inherently rare. Sure enough, it's not that easy to achieve. Lin Xiao didn't lose heart, and instead took out the Phoenix Firestone and fed it to Xiao Jing. This was an epic quality crystal. Life Crystal Core, Xiao Jing, level increased to 45. Acquired skill, Blazing Inferno. What a shame. It's an offensive ability. Lin Xiao felt a bit regretful that the talent and skill weren't what he wanted. However, he could continue experimenting. He would succeed eventually. Setting Xiao Jing's matters aside, he prepared to upgrade the talents of his summoned beasts. Aside from the Death Knight, Snow Girl Doll, and Slime, his other summoned beasts struggled to form effective combat strength against powerful enemies. So this talent upgrade would focus on improving them. It wouldn't be too late to upgrade the Death Knight and the others if there were any left over. Looking at the Goblin King's information, he immediately chose the Chieftain talent for upgrading. He lavishly used 10 talent Divine Stones. Since upgrading talents didn't depend on the required talent rank, he naturally wouldn't use the S-rank talents. As a brilliant light shone, a prompt sounded in his ear. Acquired talent, Emperor, Brilliant Grade. Emperor summons 48 loyal goblins to fight, maximum 100, and can incorporate other species. Note: incorporated species are highly likely to rebel if your own strength is insufficient. Summoned Beast, Goblin King - Goblin Emperor. Goblin Emperor acquired talent derivative skill, Subjugation. Subjugation. Special talent skill: you gain the right to dominate species that submit to you.